are now listening to The Temple of the Killer Tiger Monkeys. The Temple of the Killer Tiger Monkeys is a John Mitchell story and is brought to you by Cine Downloads. Narrated by Dr. Hugh Pincott. Previously on The Temple of the Killer Tiger Monkeys...
Don't be ridiculous. Why would I say something like that? You can trust a van with 12 million miles on the clock. Someone can send a message by computer to the person sat next to him. Look, don't use anything dangerous to fight the demons. Fired. Bad attitude? Fired. Look at you, funny. Fired.
Now the next part of the story. Episode 16. Zing enters the room. He has his clipboard and mentions to Cheng that the delivery of toilet paper has arrived.
Toilet paper, master!
Cheng thanks him for letting him know. Before he leaves, Steve calls out to him.
Hey there, young guy with the clipboard.
Zing looks up at Steve, then at Cheng. Cheng nods to him, so he warily replies to Steve.
Yes, sir.
Don't call me sir, call me Steve. We're all on the same team here. Now, young dude, we take health and safety extremely importantly, so we need someone on site who can monitor all of this all of the time. Someone who is talented at using a clipboard like you. We need you to check health and safety, watch everyone, do all the training, understand the laws and regulations, make sure others understand and follow them, put together health and safety initiatives and training classes for others. Are you interested?
Zing asks hopefully.
Do I get more money for this?
Management burst out laughing and laugh long and hard. Zing looks over at Cheng. Cheng shakes his head. Eventually they stop laughing as Steve says,
We're currently looking into this being a fully paid position. At the moment there's no money in it, but when we get a clear idea about the role and responsibilities, we will be absolutely paying for it. You can trust me on that one. It could be quite a few months while we run things through. So, are you interested?
Oh yeah, sounds great, definitely, Sir Steve.
An excited Zing bounces back out of the main hall area. Cheng watches him with weary eyes. As Zing enters the hall, he notices a suited man in the reception area. This man looks stressed and worn out. Zing goes over to see what he wants. This man is the chief executive of the council. He tells Zing that his secretary tried phoning, but there are no phone lines here, so he has come down in person to speak with someone in charge. Zing tells him to wait there while he finds the person in charge. He bounces off again towards the armory. Cheng has emerged and Zing runs up to him.
Master, there is a man at the reception who wants to speak to the person in charge.
Cheng looks over at reception and sees the chief exec.
Okay, thank you, Zing. I'll go and speak to him.
No, master, not you. I need the person in charge. Where's Steve?
What? But Oh, never mind. Steve's still in the armory.
Thanks, master.
Zing runs off to find Steve. Cheng is visibly sagging. The chief executive is busy pacing up and down in the reception area. His shirt is wet with nervous sweat, and perspiration drips off his head. He looks up to see Steve walking in and rushes over to speak with him. Steve, I'm so glad you're here. I need to speak with you desperately.
Okay.
Steve ushers the chief exec over to a leather effect sofa that's recently been delivered. They both sit on it.
So what's the problem?
I need this Tiger Monkey project up and running straight away. Time is running out. We have to take down the demon army, and we have to do it now.
Well, we can't do it straight away. We're still getting set up here. We're not ready yet.
Well, how long are you going to be?
Blusters the chief exec.
A few more weeks at least. It's taken time to get the team trained up and set up for this challenge.
No, you have to get it done now. If we wait, then we will lose the initiative. Other people are looking to fix this problem, but we're invested in you guys doing the job. We cannot have other people getting in here. We need to keep control.
Look, I hear what you're saying, but there's no way with the budget we have for us to hurry things along.
The chief exec looks crestfallen and puts his head in his hands. Steve sees this and tries to offer something helpful.
But if we were to get an increase in the budget,
The chief exec looks up.
you know, a small increase of about £550,000 would get things moving this week.
£550,000. Are you mad?
I'm deadly serious. With that amount of cash, I could inject it straight into the temple, and it would kickstart the whole project like petrol on a campfire. It's your choice.
550 grand? I don't know if I can do it. I've given you so much money so far, there'll be questions being asked, and I'll be dragged over the coals.
Look, I will help you out. I know you'll have a hard time, so I'm prepared to compensate you for your money and risk.
The chief executive looks at him carefully.
If you give us 550 grand, I will give you 50 grand of that in a little brown envelope and put it in your pocket. A little thank you to you from us.
A backhander? I thought my time dealing with those was over.
Money makes the world go round, as they say. If you give us the money, we'll start the job next week, and you will have a nice bit of cash you can spend on a cruise for you and your missus. Get you away from all those nasty questions and people sticking their noses in your business. A nice little boost for your retirement fund. And you'll take all the credit for solving the demon crisis early. What do you say?
Chief exec thinks for a while. The sweat drips off his brow.
Okay, I'll do it. I'll forward the money to you from the council's special account.
And likewise, I'll forward you your retirement boost as soon as we can receive the money.
They both shake hands and smile. The main doors open and in steps the slinky form of news reporter Tiffany Towers. The chief exec sees her and goes white. Steve laughs at this.
It's okay. She's not here for you. I have a TV appointment. Do you want to stay?
The chief executive doesn't reply. He covers his face and scurries off out of the door past Tiffany Towers. Tiffany dodges the small, sweaty man as he barges past and says,
Hello, I'm looking for a guy called Steve.
The TV crew begins to set up in the main hall. The reporter emerges from the toilets. He stinks, is soaked through with the unmentionable liquid and is carrying a plunger. He sees the TV crew and immediately ducks behind some large packing boxes. His eyes are wide open as he wonders what is happening. Who are these TV people? Why are they here? This is my scoop. I'm working this story. They shouldn't be here. I'm here unblocking toilets while they just walk in to steal my story. He looks closely at the two crew members who are setting up the camera and notices that they are his own crew. My old cameraman and soundman, what are they doing here? Who are they working for? Maybe if I approach them, they'll let me in on this report. I can give them a first-hand, behind-the-scenes account of the situation here. That will get me back on the radar and let the world know that I'm still working on this story from the inside out. The hard way. He stands up and, still holding his plunger, he strides over to his former workmates. He suddenly freezes when he sees the foxy form of his nemesis, Tiffany Towers. She sashays her serpentine form towards the camera crew and spots the reporter and asks,
Plumber man, can you tell Steve we're ready to start recording? It would be great if we could get some realistic training or fighting or whatever in the background. It would give the shot some depth and make it come alive.
The reporter is still frozen. Tiffany Towers has again brazenly walked into his personal domain and completely taken it over with not even a simple acknowledgement towards him as a renowned award-winning journalist. He stands there dumbly for a moment before telling her that he will find Steve. She nods and turns her head while she looks over the rest of the location. The sound man, however, recognizes the reporter's voice and looks over to him as he starts to walk away.
Hey you! I know you!
The reporter freezes again. The cameraman now looks over to see what the sound man is talking about.
Hey, I recognise that bowl patch. You're the reporter. Yeah, it's the reporter.
The reporter slowly turns round to face him.
I knew it. What the hell are you doing here, man?
Why have you got a plunger and are covered in dirty toilet crap?
Oh my life, that's toilet crap too. Are you working here as a toilet butt monkey?
Damn, he's a toilet butt monkey.
The cameraman and sound man start laughing at the reporter. The reporter looks ashamed.
Man, turn the camera on. I want to get some footage of the great and powerful reporter. Winner of an award 20 years ago, and now reduced to plunging turds from toilets.
Yeah, I'm turning the camera on now.
He presses the record button and points the camera at the reporter. The reporter is caught in a bizarre situation. He has the camera on him once more and is thrilled to be given the opportunity to address them about his undercover scooping at the temple. Maybe it will be seen by someone influential who will pay for the full story. But then he notices that the camera crew don't care about that. They just want to laugh at him standing there with his stupid plunger covered in brown stuff. For the first time in his life, he doesn't want the camera on him. He turns and runs away towards the toilets again.
Hello, viewers. I am here today at the headquarters of the Temple of the Killer Tiger Monkeys, a specialist organisation that has been hired by the City Council to intervene, control and ultimately finish the refugee crisis in the city. Some 6 months ago, this city was besieged when the refugees broke out of their camp and went on a rampage of looting and burning. They have now been fenced off within the confines of the city centre itself. That part of the city has been given the unflattering name of the Demon Zone. Here I am with the manager for this operation, Steve, and 2 of his employees, Master Chong Fong and Kok Wongle.
No,
Says Cheng.
you have our names wrong. They are Chen Fu and Kok Wan.
Interjects Cheng.
Okay, cut.
Tiffany Towers stares daggers at Cheng. Steve tells Cheng to be quiet.
Shut it, Bruce Lee.
Tiffany turns to the cameraman and asks if he can edit that out. He nods and says yes. Steve readjusts his tie and looks beyond the cameraman to his gang of managers who crowd around watching, giving support.
Right, let's go again, Steve. And this time, keep your employees quiet.
We could keep them out of shot. It would be easier.
No, this is better. It makes your temple look diverse, and it makes our news channel look diverse.
Well, we could put them in the background, sweeping up or something.
No, definitely not. That sends the wrong message entirely. We can't have the Chinese people sweeping up while you white, middle-class manager answer questions. We'll keep them in shot, but make sure they stay quiet.
Steve nods, and Cheng and Kok look at each other with growing resentment at their treatment. The cameraman counts down from 3 and waves action with his hand.
Steve, how are you preparing for your war on the refugees?
Well, firstly, it's not a war. We're looking at helping those refugees and rehabilitating them into society. We're humanitarians, and we're looking out for their interests. These guys I have with me are crowd control experts brought in from China. They are used to dealing with issues of social unrest and bringing them into fruitful conclusion. They were originally trained by Chairman Mao.
Cheng Fu and Kok Wang try to interrupt Steve's strange lies, but Steve raises his hand to stop them.
Unfortunately, neither of them speak English. They're only just got off the bamboo boat from Pandaland.
Cheng and Kok are furious at this.
This headquarters is impressive. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, it has been put together under my strict supervision. I have a book repository full of information. We have a superb media suite with a state-of-the-art computers. The staff here is fully trained in effective crowd control. Even the canteen has a brand new microwave. This is a slick operation.
So, how long will it be before your guys go into the Demon Zone to take the city back?
1 week.
Cheng Fu and Kok Wang shout out in protest at this, and Tiffany calls cut again.
Cut.
1 week is impossible. We need at least 6 months.
Tries Cheng.
No, I've told the city council we'll be going in next week, and that is what's going to happen.
The only way we can make it happen is if you give us more money so we can accelerate things here. Accelerate the enchanting, the training, the infrastructure in the building, everything. Can you give us extra money to do that?
No, unfortunately not. There is no extra money.
Then it's not possible.
It is possible, and you will make it happen with what you have available. If you don't, then you and Kok Wongle can start looking for a new job. Pronto.
Cheng can't believe what he's hearing and walks off filled with indignation. He's quickly followed by Kok Wang. Tiffany restarts the interview and is counted in by her cameraman.
So, can you tell us more about how you will achieve your aims here?
Cheng Fu and Kok Wang storm off to the repository. The door is slammed behind them. Kok immediately shouts and screams with anger at the day's events. He kicks over a chair, then pulls down a bookshelf. He feels grievously insulted by the managers. The rage bursts in his head. Several times during the day, he struggled to hold himself back from punching them out, especially Steve. Several times he wanted to grab Steve by his red silk tie and swing him through a window. He wanted to sharpen a broom handle and impale a bunch of laughing, grinning managers on it like a shish kebab. But instead, he followed Cheng's lead and held his temper. Now, though, while he and Cheng are alone, he wants some answers. He wants to know why this is being allowed to continue. This humiliation, this slow strangulation of their temple. Why isn't Cheng fighting against this? Why is he so supine in allowing it to happen? He looks at Cheng, who is quietly standing. He notices his eyes burning with anger. He can see that Cheng feels the same way. He has to know what Cheng is thinking. He has to understand why this situation is being tolerated.
Master.
Cheng's eyes slowly lift up to look at Kok.
I know what you are going to ask, Kok.
Then tell me what I need to know, Master. I'm going crazy. The situation is intolerable.
I admit that I never thought it would be this bad. We were forced to modernize the temple to bring it into the 20th century.
21st century, Master.
Yes, indeed. We had to accept this new direction, otherwise there would have been consequences. Consequences that would have shattered the temple. But it was never supposed to be like this. We were supposed to have control.
Is this about Hong Kong?
Everything is about Hong Kong.
So mistakes were made. Management was brought in to run things. How do we get back to the way things should be?
The only way back is to go forward.
What do you mean?
We must travel this road until it ends. Only then will the others see the journey for what it has been.
So we do nothing but put up with Steve and his stupid bullshit?
That is the only options we have.
If we have to show this up for being a failure, then why don't we deliberately make it fail? We could sabotage the whole thing so the management gets kicked out, then we could do the job properly.
No! It has to be seen to be genuine. The merits of the situation will be judged on its honesty. If we cheat, then the others will know, and it will tighten the grip of management throughout the temple. If it is to fail, then it has to be because of its own weakness, and not ours.
So your plan then is for us to do nothing?
Kok asks accusingly, and Cheng's eyes drift down in sadness.
Kok, sometimes there is more strength in being weak than there is in being strong.
Cheng looks up at Kok to see if these words landed home. He sees the frustration and anger in Kok's eyes, but he also sees that he accepts his words. For now. Steve opens the door and enters the room. He knocks as he does so. Kok and Cheng look up at him, and Steve sees the anger in Kok's face. The other managers start to enter the room behind Steve.
Hey, Cheng and Kok. My interview's finished. It went really well.
Cheng doesn't acknowledge him, and Kok just stares.
Hey, look, I'm sorry for dropping that 1 week thing on you guys. I didn't want you to find out like that. I'd hoped we could have discussed it beforehand, but, well, what's done is done, and now you know.
You know very well that 1 week is not enough time. We are woefully unprepared for this. You are risking the lives of everyone here,
says Cheng.
I'm not saying it won't be hard. It will be a struggle. But I know that you guys, with your experience and technique, can pull this off.
Are you not listening to Master Cheng? It cannot be done.
Adds Kok resentfully. Steve looks at him and then carries on talking to Cheng.
Come on, Cheng, we don't have a choice. The council approached me and ordered me to bring this project online next week. My hands are tied. We can't delay. To do so jeopardizes everything. We have to start next week. They are relying on us. They're relying on you. What do you say?
Cheng says nothing, but looks into the distance thoughtfully. Steve and Kok watch him, waiting for his response. After what seems like an age, he speaks quietly.
When the dragon would come to burn a village, sometimes the soldiers in the castle would be too far away to help. The villagers would have no choice but to fight the beasts with the little they had. If they failed, then their homes would burn. If they won, the harvest survived for another season.
Steve and the other managers look at each other. They're all confused. Steve asks,
Well, what the hell are you going on about, Cheng?
Kok answers for him.
It means we start the project next week.
Cheng looks at Kok and sees the bitterness in his face. Steve and the managers cheer happily. Kok storms out of the room, pushing past some managers. Steve reacts to this.
I'm getting pissed off with his constant tantrums. It's like being in a kindergarten.
He turns back to Cheng.
Cheng, thank you for starting this next week. You're saving this project and saving the reputation of the temple. We are all grateful to you for that.
The managers all agree and nod.
We are here to complete the mission. We must always be ready. This will test our resolve and our ability to undertake tasks of this magnitude. It will be hard, but it is not impossible.
That's what I like. Positivity.
Steve and the managers give a round of applause to Cheng.
Naturally, we will be here to help you and give you our full support. We want to make sure this gets off to the best possible start.
There's a cough from behind Steve and one of the managers speaks out.
Steve, we can't. We're supposed to be going to the south of France tomorrow.
Steve remembers this and nods before turning back to Cheng.
Cheng, I forgot. We're going on a training session for a week, so we won't be able to help you out. You'll have to soldier on alone. It's unavoidable, I'm afraid. To be honest, I'd rather not go, as these training sessions are really boring, but this one is a strategical analysis of, and you can imagine how boring that one is.
Another manager calls out.
Training session? I thought we were going to watch the tennis.
Shh, mate.
Hisses Steve.
Statistical analysis? Fuck that. I was told I'd have front row seats so I could look up Serena Williams' skirt.
Calls out another manager.
Will you guys be quiet?
Steve shouts at them. Cheng shakes his head and looks at Steve.
Don't listen to these guys. It's just office banter. You know what it's like when a bunch of guys get together. Anyway, if you have any problems, just ping my phone with a text and we'll get right on it.
Steve gives a big thumbs up to Cheng and turns away. Cheng looks at him disdainfully. Steve and the managers start to filter out of the room. As they leave, one of the managers can be heard asking Steve,
Are you really going to be keeping your phone on while we're there?
Nope, not a chance. I'll be too busy checking out Serena Williams.
The manager laughs and gives Steve a high five.
This episode was brought to you by Cine Downloads, narrated by Dr. Hugh Pincott. Today's episode featured Michael Berryman as Chief Exec, George Wilson as Steve the Manager, Wai Wong as Master Cheng Fu. Other voices provided by Chris Ball Hero as Zing T, Dan Scott, Gina B, John Ian Dredge, John Lee, Nathan Noura as Kok Wang, Phil Ward. Written, produced, edited and directed by John Mitchell. Co-produced by Chris Ball Hero. Sound recorded by Louis Thompson, Chris Ball Hero. Sound engineer Andrew Doc Collins. Theme tune by Jed Gray. Thank you for listening, and watch out for the next episode of the Temple of the Killer Tiger Monkeys.